Welcome. Happy days. I know. We have got some weekend Overwatch here for you. FACEIT League Master Division playoffs. Yeah, you know, we're off to a banger start already. We are in day 2 of playoffs. Our bracket quarterfinals started on Thursday. We had a bunch of 3-0s down the board, the only exception being Dreamlight dropping a map to French Revolut. Other than that, clean 3-0s for both regions. And we blame Nevis. I think that was the other highlight of what we missed. Let's take a look at our bracket coming into day 2 of playoffs. We're going to stay with the upper bracket semifinals today. We're going to take a look at Dreamlight taking on MewThree. This is going to be your number 2 versus your number 3 seeds. Should be a banger. These two have met once already this season. Dreamlight coming in 14-2 are your second seed. Only behind SR Peak Check. 13-2. 13-2. I mean, a hell of a season, and this is coming off of the back of a fantastic finish in season 5. They were able, to get 3rd place in season 5 with that, big punch up. Got on a main broadcast with versus Team Vision, that infamous matchup, kind of heralded as the grassroots team of EMEA. Proving that just raw teamwork can get it done. You don't have to have high dollar rosters to have success here at T2. And that has continued into season 6. That success carried through regular season this time, not so much of an underdog where they were 5th, 8th place coming out of regular season in season 5. Dreamlight with a very successful 13-2 season 6, getting them 2nd place. It says tied for 1st, 2nd. They lost the head-to-head to SRPC. It was one of the only 2 teams to beat them. MewThree coming in with the 3rd seed and a 12-3 record. Golden Pants wasn't with them yet. I don't believe the start of the season, in that opening week, was not with them yet. Only other losses are to Gas, T3, and Dreamlight. So, as I kind of started to hint at, I felt like I was getting ahead of myself. Dreamlight did take this head-to-head in the regular season. That was a 3-1 win here from Dreamlight. You did have Regime was playing here at the time. Verret has come over and joined MewThree since. So, obviously that match, September 1st was before roster lock. Roster lock was, the 9th? Really just that change. Dreamlight feels like hasn't changed in some time. They did add Aku, I believe, since roster lock. Both teams coming off of, successful win streaks, right? MewThree have won their last 9 matches, including their opening playoff round against Gas T3. So on a 9-game win streak there from MewThree. We are going to get a Reaper ban there from Dreamlight. Obviously, Lijiang Tower new into the mix. Mr. Spectrion. Yes. Come on in. What is up, Spec? Welcome.
Yeah, looking forward to the game. I don't know, I'm excited about it. I think it could be an absolute bomb burner, to be honest.
It was a 3-1 last time. There were some roster differences, but I think the meta suits MewThree right now. So, I really do kind of feel like it could go either way. Actually, speaking of, that's a good reminder. Let me get Preds up.
And, with this game specifically, I'm sure you've, mentioned it, but it feels like a clash of, individuals versus team play, right? MewThree are a fresh team, incredibly strong individuals. All of these players can pop off. But do they have the synergy in their roles? Not even really, right? You've got this double flex support backline. Whereas with Dreamlight, I'm not saying any of these are bad players by any means, right? But I think before they were Dreamlight, none of them had a crazy name for themselves. They found most of their big successes on this roster by staying together for so long. So it does feel like a kind of power of friendship versus power of one kind of narrative that we've got building up here.
And it even kind of fits with the play style, and the strategy behind a Wrecking Ball composition even fits into that as well. And the way these teams like to play. So that is a beautiful analogy. I love it. What was our second band?
So
Kiriko.
That's Kiriban, which kind of makes sense. I assume that was Dreamlight who made that?
No.
Awesome.
It was MewThree who actually banned out the Kiri. Dreamlight banned the Reaper.
Okay, that's interesting, actually, because I would have assumed Dreamlight's ban strategy would probably be targeting the backline. Wait, we've got Akka, AS, and Veritin? Okay, that's interesting.
That is interesting.
I guess it's AS on hit scan, something like that?
Something like that, yeah. But that is typically 3 support players, right?
Yeah, yes it is. Because what I would normally say going into MewThree is that having AS and Akka both, 2 flex support players, Ferret having kind of iffy availability, or maybe starting slightly less, means that you can normally abuse that in the ban phase by going after double flex heroes. So heroes like Illari, Zen, Kiriko, who really make the comps work, you remove those and you kind of force them onto something that's maybe suboptimal. Maybe even you should get one of these guys onto a main support, and that's where you can maybe eke out your wins. So Verret does add flexibility, absolutely, but maybe with a bit less experience with him, it's going to be an issue for them still.
Interesting we're not seeing Kurama in for this first map. I wonder if that's availability or if there's a strategy behind this.
I've got to assume availability, but, we'll have to wait and see as this kind of continues through, because Kurama's a great player. It turns out flex DPS is pretty important in this meta.
Yeah.
And while Senna kind of has it on lock, you'd also rather have her on hit scan, right? Because she can just shoot like that. So I'm going to assume that, but hey, maybe we'll find out something later.
Oh, I'm totally betting on that Verret Mercy that we were just teased with.
Can we not? Like, do we have to, legally speaking?
Let's get to Lijiang. I'm also enjoying a new map pool. You know what? I always enjoy a new map pool. We got a new map pool for playoffs. Only 4 maps of the entire pool returning from regular season into playoffs, which I don't know why I like that stat. I like that stat. It's very indicative of, like, we've got a whole new slew of maps all the way down the board.
Yeah, I don't know. The variety, it's kind of nice to be, so set in your pool, you know what's happening. But once things change up, it does feel like a bit of a breath of fresh air. It's been a while since I've seen Lijiang being played, it feels like.
Yeah.
So now we're back in. You get a little bit of different gameplay options. I'm really looking forward to it.
Luna, we were not hating on tanks for the record. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off, Spec. I had to.
No worries, don't worry. Luna's been saying some crazy stuff to me in the meantime, so we can hate on him a little bit. Sombra Tracer out for Golden Pants and Co. Tracer still for Lilin with the Genji, so no hit scans in so far. Senna forced out.
And this is going to be a lot more objective presence. Not really cart, but objective presence with this Maga composition. So we'll see if the Wrecking Ball... Oh, okay. That was like a 5v1. Lilin went in way deep.
Kind of rough. Golden Pants, this engage is pretty bold. He's going to have a lot of his HP kind of evaporated. First cap here means that, if you are Dreamlight, you can just stick around, wait it out, and hope nobody goes down like Rod just did.
Well, now Opon's going to move back onto the point, but Golden Pants has just been able to brawl out on that corner. So with you get the opening pick under Rod FD, that snowballs into 4 more and turns into a flawless team fight the other direction.
The Malga, you kind of suck at extended fights, which is what the ball really wants. If you don't find an early pick, then Golden Pants will be able to whittle down your HP and get a pick somewhere. That's exactly what we see happen. Know how scared they have to be when these rotates, because the Golden Pants roll through a slam could totally ruin their day.
Kind of ruined Rod FD. Just pulling him off the wall, like interrupted the jump. Big anti-nade. Oh my goodness. Ace just destroyed their world. That was apocalyptic there from the flex support. Not a hero you expect to see here. Although the clapback is good, Julia, I can't even get anybody's pop to stay alive. We're just going to keep it in third person on this point, as 2 Tracers are duking it out. Julia wins the day.
Yeah, Senna's able to clean up the point when all is said and done. Manages to get it to a 41%. Tomex, I don't see the vision, mate. I'm keeping a buck with you. Racing just gets himself staggered. It's kind of why we're seeing this Kiriko ban actually have a lot of effect, right? Because without the Kiriko, what do you play in a Malga-style setup? It's kind of got to be the Moira, but the hero is just so weak, and these nades are brutal. You've got no cleanse for him.
3 hit on that one. GP is able to eventually leverage that into a kill. You just need so many resources early, and now we're just going to get a bit of the spin cycle along his outside. 2-for-1 trade, but with Ace down, okay, so it's a bulkier sustain, but you don't really need it in this comp. This comp can brawl out without their Ana.
Absolutely. You only really need the Lucio heals. Sombra able to back out so easily, trades with the Recall Ball with, 6 more billion points of health. It's so chill for you. Now, 65%, not quite last fight territory, but it might well be quick.
That was a cage fight broken by an EMP, I believe? If I saw that correctly, I don't know. Akka already at 18%. I'm not sure if that is an accurate statement.
thought Central Lapan still has his cage fight on my screen.
Oh yeah, so. Yeah, I swear I saw it come down. That's why I wasn't even looking at the top right. I was just looking at the graphics on the screen. There we got a cage fight in play. Hey, you know what? Weekend streams, man. You know, I still haven't locked in yet. Y'all have to bear with me. But you know what? Looks like Dreamlight is locked in. They have
that. It does.
Yeah.
They make it through some of the stronger ultimates of their opposition. They only use their cage fight. Now you're looking to go aggressive with your Dragon Blade, basically guaranteed. And if you can do that, plus one more fight win, then you are going to be able to take map 1. Rod, you have to be able to chill, man. You have to be able to stable, make it back to the objective, else Dreamlight are going to be in a sticky situation once again.
Go through with mines. Very patient approach. GP drawing a lot of aggro, but unfortunately too much. There's just no follow through with that. Everybody else stays back through the front door. We did get a weird little cheeky flip in that. This is going down to well. Blade out. Ultimately, trying to chase down one. Not able to catch Verret with it. Ace down. We are going to get a bit of a reset here. We're going to one final fight. Oh, Verret
still. Oh my god, how does he keep living these? He's ridiculous. Been on the absolute precipice of death. Feels like 3 or 4 times, but he's still alive. We do head to this final fight, and Nano, Pulse, EMP all coming online here. For MewThree, Dreamlight may well have lost it before the fight even starts.
That's the EMP finding 4. Pulse thrown into the mix as well. All the above leads to a Central up on going down. Everybody getting in the mix in a wonderful final fight. Beautifully coordinated. MewThree even had the nano boost in the pocket here. This drew out any longer, but this was clean, crisp, and swift. MewThree will take our opening round.
I mean, it was all came down in the end to Verret just living. If he goes down at any point, it doesn't matter what ults you're bringing in, you know, nano, EMP, whatever. You miss out having that critical Lucio utility. You have one less person to touch, and I honestly think that fight goes in Dreamlight's favor. So Verret's ability to live in the enemy backline, make it back to his own team, and you know, find that value. Huge there, absolutely huge. Going up 1-0, and as we head on to Gardens as well, we have to say Malga doesn't get any stronger here. It doesn't get any better. So I do feel like it was definitely a leg up here for MewThree, who've hit the ground running here in the Masters Division playoffs. No comp changes from either side. I imagine Lilin might go for the point TP. Would be the only variation, but no. Regular. And we battle once more.
Early hack, big nade from Ace, finds 3 as well, and pressure just continues. Good job from MewThree as they seem to dictate the cooldown trades. Central up on, trying to see if they can just push out, muscle some of this tempo back. They're going to force everybody into the tea house, but it costs way too much. We were already down in cooldowns, and this is a pretty flawless first fight. Lilin with a bit of a ego trade in the back, trying to get another one. Oh, no.
Dude, every one of these nades is hitting like a Mike Tyson blow to the face.
For real.
And it feels like as soon as it connects, then Dreamlight can't really ever reassert themselves, still groggy. But 7% already in favor of MewThree, behind in basically every check mark that matters, and losing a foot of poke phase. And we need to find an engagement somehow, but who do you even engage onto?
Good timing to at least in Lilin on one side, and then you've got Pomatimo and Opon through Tea House, but Rod FD gets popped there at the bottom of the screen, I believe it was. And MewThree doing once again a good job of just chewing through these cooldowns. And Ace with the nades. I mean, he might just be player of this map so far.
Oh,
gets that final shot in. I mean, making an honor work on Lijiang, for goodness sake.
I mean, with the distance you're allowed to play, there's not a lot that can really threaten you. As Central Lapan doesn't seem to want to go like a Mirror Ball, for example, or Winston, then he's just chilling.
Oh, you're going to Julia's pop. Julia just hunts down Rod FD. Oh, shuts down the Coalescence, lands the pull. Central's gone. Beautiful 3-piece. Might be 4. Senna, proficient in the hit scan. Monster on the Tracer as well.
One criticism you could never point her way is a lack of flexibility, and doing fantastically on their Tracer so far. Last fight territory, essentially, mine's EMP, MewThree in cruise control right now.
And they can use the EMP aggressively if they want to. Okay, it's gonna be an elevator approach. Central upon with the overrun back towards Mora side. Stay too close to the sustain. Try to bunch up. The slam does get rid of a lot of the mines. Keep an eye on this EMP. Not going to come out. Lilin is able to land a good stick while Pomatimo cleans up off afterwards. EMP stays in the pocket alongside the sound barrier.
You know what? You absolutely take that. Use a pulse, make a coal. You're so fine. However, you still know the EMP is there. You're still scared of it. You cannot give Akka a chance to go. Otherwise, all that good work is unfortunately going to be for nothing.
Did not go through. You can see MewThree trying to set up all around this point, and then there comes the move in onto right FD, who had the sound barrier. A close call there for Akka, but they make it back onto solid ground, back onto this objective. The beat from Varrot is fading after the 3 ult investments. It's just the 1 kill, but you've started an OT. Pomatimo's gonna pull out the blade, finds Varrot, goes in, is able to get 1. Right after he returns with the sound barrier. And it's enough! Tomex and Lilin swing a very close 3v3, and now it's just a matter of cleaning up Golden Pants.
I thought that was over with Central up and getting launched off the map. I thought the lack of a cage fight would be pivotal, and it did make it harder for sure, but Dreamlight are able to hold on for dear life and keep Lijiang Tower in play. Huge tool now out, but the cycling for MewThree means that there's still a nano boost for them to fight through. Cage fight, however, could be a great way of shutting it down, especially if delivered to Golden Pants.
Just solo cage ace. The nano does go on to GP. We're going to try to hunt down Tomex in the back. You fade back towards the point. Regroup there with Central Alpine. Gonna get the Coalescence out. That'll top off the health. But Akka's managed to find Lilin. Not a lot of damage left, but Akka doesn't have a whole lot of sustain either. Runs back to the T-house. GP touches in onto the point. 75% and counting on the board as Akka's able to find a kill on the Rod FD. Julio lands the pulse. Oh, that was a good move! Try to push the stuck Maga into a teammate. Lilin does return, though. Gets another kill on Ace. This one with the Pulse Bomb. GP is low. Pops a 100 shield adaptive just to stay alive. Hey, it's enough. You get the flip. You got MewThree in control. You got to kill on the right FD yet again. Now it's a spin to win here. And what is it, a 4v2, 3v1? Depends on how you're counting it.
Indeed. I mean, it's still technically going back and forth, but 7 hanks, so little HP means that Lin is able to get the clean up. 10% left to go. The Tracer being dead. Sure, a touch will be able to come through, but one has to imagine that Dreamlight have an advantage, at least heading into this final fight. Can't let it go long, though, else the EMP again will be a threat.
The nade already used. This is your go sign here if you're Dreamlight. Can't quite catch GP with the overrun, but a good sleep. Oh, it's almost another boom, but Alpha able to stay on solid ground this time. We'll get both supports cleaned up. As opposed to taking a swim for the second time this map. Charges through the mines, takes an enormous amount of damage doing so. Will end up going down. Stick lands from Lilin, trying to hold on to this map. Will get GP off the point. Has a low Akka, takes him down. In a duel there with Senna. Senna recalled, gets the kill, finds the flank on Lilin, but it's bought enough time for Pomatimo to return. 2v2 on the point as Lucios are back in the fight. You've got the Moira from Tomex in as well. Beat in from Varrot. Right after he's still 10% away. Is it going to be enough? Ace was running on a Juno just for speed and tons of sustain, but now Rod FD gets a 4-player sound barrier into the mix. We've got a blade in the air. Doesn't quite finish off Ace. The rest of the blade kind of going south. Nothing really found with that. It's the Coalescence that comes up with the kills.
The fight is still going almost a C9 here from MewThree, but they have come to lose every single player instead. Bloody hell. That was so damn close. That final 2-3 fights just came down to what ults you could generate literally mid-fight. You know, at one point, Senna winning the 1v1 versus Lilin, I thought it was over, but then the respawns are able to come through. I believe it was Tomex and Pomatimo who make it back about 20% away from their own check marks. The blade doesn't get all that much, but the Coalescence just allows them to survive. The damage threat forces the rest of MewThree to play so passively. And so we've managed to force it to a point number 3. And here on Control Center, the Malga is going to find so much more value. The sightlines, so much more in favor of Dreamlight. Golden Pants going to have to struggle to find value, maybe to the same extent at the very least. AES can't play nearly as safely as before. And so Dreamlight have bought themselves more than a time extension. They bought themselves a real shot here at map number 1.
So I'm going to try to close that gap. I think still had a little bit of the overrun up to shrug of the sleep. Either way, it was a successful attack, but it cost you... it cost you Tomix there in the back line. You do get the critical on that hit on the Verd. I'm also impressed with tank players being able to get the criticals on the overruns. That is so difficult to do. Scrappy first fight goes to Dreamlight here.
Absolutely take that. How does Golden Pants have 85% of them? Where'd that come from? That's ridiculous.
Wait, what?
Yes, what I'm saying.
By the way, Westwood 420, thank you for the gifty that goes to Cloudy, of all people. I appreciate you. Big slam in the back, and there's like a 30-second mine. 60-second mines were being more realistic, but still, there was 20% picked up. That was an insanely fast ultimate, but it has been trading. And Pomatimo equally, as high up in ult charge, it was not going to get that blade.
The Genji versus the Sombra 1v1 is pretty weird, especially if Sombra can maintain the distance, so easy kill. Lillard still able to trade it back, has been an absolute menace on this Tracer, and won't be able to do that anymore. Sen able to get that final blow flip, comes through, but they want to keep fighting this.
Yeah, we're going to get an EMP there in the back line. Tomx's coalescence got canceled with that ultimate. MewThree able to just mow over that one. I don't mean, you kind of... Was that a bait from Tomx? Like, are you okay with that? You got EMP out with just hitting coal. Like, that feels like
I'm not saying it's necessarily a bait, but it's for sure a great ult trade,
That's
right?
a great trade!
In a fight where you're probably losing anyway, you'll take that. You'll absolutely take that. Golden Pants, still close to the minefield, so you're not as up as you maybe like, but you can still find great value from example, this Pomatimo Dragon Blade.
Who's trying to catch Ace, will find the newest hero. Can't water bend enough out of that one. That's rough, buddy. Mine's in. Pulse, hack, everything onto Oppon. They're still, just out here slamming away. Gonna catch Julia in a one-player cage. Poor Senna, man. That felt, wow, that was an FU in particular.
These cages feel personal. Is that
ever? Do they really do?
More than one person? He's just like, nope, get out of my lobby expediently, bro. Oh, see if the game plan's just a bubble onto, for example, Senna, see if she can get knocked down.
Yep, instead he's going to run in and use the explosion to level Oppon, and Oppon's still trying to back away. I believe the cardiac already used. No enough cooldowns in the world. We did get a sound barrier invested from this as well, but the value is found on the back of it. It may be heavy-handed investment, but it's a flawless team fight there from MewThree.
It is. And they've got a decent chance now to at least bring back some sort of lead to this map, because it has felt like since we got here to Control Center, it's been a little bit more on the back foot for them. But your ult cycles are coming online. You're 20% to getting the lead. You're going to be feeling a lot better about yourself now, finally.
Very, very close here in this final round of the Control Center. Tomx with Coalescence going to open it up. You're able to focus down Akka. Pomatino Davidson is just chasing GP, staying on him like a bad smell. Eventually, GP will make it out. We do get a flip, 81 apiece here on the board.
They'll absolutely take that. Oh my god, what a slam into the EMP. They just get evaporated. By Dreamlight. MewThree's back in control.
They gave up, what, 10% on that? It was such a quick re-engage, too. My goodness. And now you're looking at Tidal Blast and Pulse to work with, and Mines.
I was getting ready to make a point about how taking care of Aqua was such a big pick because the EMP wasn't online. She changed that pretty fast. Final fight territory. This one's for all the marbles, folks.
We're gonna get the Tidal Blast thrown onto the Tracer, but the Blade finds Ace. Julia, sound like the stick landed. 2-for-2 trade. Willen will not get an opportunity. We do barely get a touch there at the end. What if they tried to stay alive long enough to build toward the sound barrier, towing a very dangerous line? There's the beat into the mix. Only 3 players here to get it. Appa's going to go into a wrecking ball just to get back into the mix. trying to find Akka. Akka's able to translocate away, playing along the outside of the point. You do still have MewThree in control of this objective. Center return. You're looking at a 2v1. The Akka's down. Lilin's gonna do it again. Lilin. You've got to be kidding me. Lilin is about to clutch him for the second time in one map.
Lilin just turns into the lobby. Whenever things get sticky, it feels like Bomatimo goes down to it again. It has to be Lilin who's the hero. So stuck in the ball mirror. Now Central App and having that hero. Center dead. Surely this is going to be it for MewThree, but the beat engage from there, it turns the tables once again. And if this continues, Akka's going to get an EMP online. It could absolutely shut the door on this map.
Central App still in the mix. They're going to get into a solid 5v5. Tomix has got this coalescence. Akka at 85% to this all-important EMP to try to turn these lights off. GP with mines. See if they can end it before that. Mines are out. As the coalescence fade, the hack on the Oppon's going to be the end of the wrecking ball. Slam in. Rod FD has to get away. The touch from Lilin, but that one goes down. The tags are starting to fall. MewThree have tilted the balance. The EMP will be the nail in the coffin. Map 1 will go to MewThree, but it couldn't have been any closer.
I mean, at least the second 2 points there came down. I mean, tighter than the wire. It's a knife's edge. You know, this time it tipped in the balance on the sides of MewThree, but bloody hell, I mean, I know we said this game could be a good one before we started, but we didn't expect it to deliver so damn quickly. I mean, everyone's playing lights out by the looks of things. Central App actually doing a great job to make the Malga work, but in the end, you know, in the stall pick on the ball, I mean, a Wrecking Ball mirror versus Golden Pants isn't one very many people in the world win.
I mean, I'm sitting in chat. We got Hana Sophie in chat, owner of Dreamlight, founder of Dreamlight. You know, it's just like we are clinched from the get-go in this series, like already. You know, I mean, just from the get-go.
Yeah,
I mean, Suravasa pick there out of Dreamlight.
It feels like we just went 0 to 100 instantly. Like, it's a couple rough fights on, especially Night Market, and as soon as we get past that, then we're just straight in.
We all had to kind of get locked in. We all had to get warmed up, Spec.
Exactly.
All the way around. Looking at stat card, we have a 50 bomb from GP and Senna. 56 and 6 with 20k damage out of Golden Pants in that map.
It's unreasonable.
57 and 8 from Senna.
It's just unreasonable.
That's insane.
Like, there's an argument that the character just farms damage, farms the elims, but I mean, when both GP and Senna are doing it, I mean, the mind just boggles. It's an insane amount of value to be outputting from the get-go. Like we said, no warm-up time as well. They are straight 0 to 100.
Wow. 57 and 8. Ridiculous.
Stat line.
Unreal.
It's just goofy.
Did we get an invite? We did get an invite. Thought I heard that come through. I was mesmerized by those stats. It's going to be a sim ban. Okay, so MewThree are going to attack the DPS line.
I think the fact we see sim ban specifically implies that it's going to be something like a hazard that really doesn't like the sim from Golden Pants here. Just very reasonable thing for him to play. Just make it so you don't get full beamed, so you're still playing the angle stuff that you reckon your team is better at. I think that's a good idea, but I think it also does telegraph what you want to do quite a bit.
I mean, to be fair, I'm not sure MewThree are worried about that. Telegraphing,
that is. So. I suppose you're right. For whatever reason. Our Chunga streamer.
That is absolutely accurate.
Okay, I do like this. What we're seeing from both sides, actually. Winston from Golden Pants, definitely his second most played hero. Double flex with the Kiri and the Wu Yang. No Kurama actually being back in here. So no more Verity. He's going to be gone for a little while. And again, same old shebang. Tomek's only on the Kiriko now.
Now I'm kind of questioning the sim ban even more. It's like, now why wouldn't you just attack the Lucio at this point? Right? You got Kurama back in. You're going to come in with the Wu Yang. You see the rejuvenating wave thrown out, and Golden Pants playing this Winston, trying to chase down Rod FD on said Lucio, but they're able to back up, get some heals, and restabilize on these stairs. Instead of trying to push in stair side, But you're going into basically a 1v3. Yeah, Tommy's trying to back that up if you need to. And 5 strong, Dreamlight just bulldoze their way onto the point.
They have that capability that Malg is just so tanky, right? So unless he gets hard shot out by Akka, then Central Afan can just sit on the objective basically forever. That's why they managed to get this flip. That's why Senna constantly half HP, looking for an engage, and that's why she's eventually going down.
Yeah, was looking for any way possible to try to push in, and as I mentioned, was just working against the odds. Eventually, Rod FD is going to come up with the final blow, even with the reduced damage on those Cheerios. Rod FD gets another one, close to a beat here. Yeah, that's... Ooh, late cleanup picks. Yeah.
Pristine. Dreamlight starting so strongly. Normally, with this Malga comp, you're looking for early engages onto the opposing tank. With the Winston, you can just take it long, though, because he can't shoot you out. With D.Va, going to be a little bit more focused on that poke phase, so the more Dreamlight can avoid it, the easier of a time they'll have, but they have plenty of ults to skip that, go as fast as possible into the enemy team.
Son and Timo Z's follow just to drop this delightful emote, copy pasta in chat. Let's check in on this B-bladed Gage. You're going to take Ace down. Not sure where the title blast went, but if it went onto the Tracer as usual, it was not enough. Bowman Timo's going to find 3, and it's a flawless. Make it 4 for this opening fight, and a Dreamlight 1-0 to kick things off.
You did kind of break the bank for it, right? 3 check marks being invested, and just the title blast on the other side of things, but at the end of the day, ults are pretty temporary, and having that point, that notch on your belt, that is forever. But heading into this next fight, you've still got pretty good chances, even if you do just have the cage, especially if you can drain some Matrix out earlier. You could have another fight win and pretty consistent if you find a good target for it.
Both teams retreat back to their sides, try to meet on the objective, with the exception of Senna, has kind of followed through main to loop back around. That's a huge run-in from Opon. The cage fight is out. Did you just put yourself into a bad situation? Well, time will tell. Death Blossom in from Senna. And this has been thwarted. You do get the rush invested alongside that ultimate. The 2-for-1 trade, but first fight going over to MewThree.
That's kind of what I was worried about, right? You're behind an ultimate. So Sound Barrier, for example, there would have won that fight for you. But at the end of the day, brought you to about even Stevens. Pulse and self-destruct versus just a pulse. You're kind of back to neutral, essentially. So whoever can play them micro better, going to be finding much more success here. It just comes down to executing those basics.
It's Julia in the back line. Cinna's going to find Tomex. So it's just Lucio heals here for Dreamlight, and that's just not what they want. They do not play nearly as separated as the comp on the other side.
Tidal Blast, surely going to find a target with it sooner rather than later. Especially while Dreamlight are kind of figuring out what they want to do. The optimal time to just get extra disruption in, maybe even a pick.
Continue rush. You want to try to counter? Yeah, they are going to go ahead and throw it onto the GP. I believe it's no, it went on to Julia. Excuse me, I missed this saw, but here comes the Continue Rush and the Blade once again. After the blast is gone, the Blade persists. Julia ends up cut down. GP outnumbered along coast side, does have a self-destruct. You will get back in Mechathon, you're going to find a kill on the Tomex, and this flash on a Timo. Unreal, unbelievable, not acceptable. Rod FT beats for 3. Kills Karama on the way out, finds a Loak as well. This is just chaos. This is just pure insanity, and I'm here for it. Rod FD is going to go in and get a D-back. I can't take it off the Lucio palm. This Lucio's just taking over. What did you eat for breakfast, Rod FD?
He's just like chilling, skating through the map and picking up kills left, right, and center. Great work there from Rod. After Golden Pants, who he target banned, by the way, is able to find a self-destruct and a remet kill. Absolute pandemonium this entire game has been, and here on Ruin, it doesn't seem to be changing any time soon. Again, though, it's Dreamlight behind on ults. Golden Pants back on the Winston, and I'm assuming MewThree are looking to go first.
You get the... Oh, Suzus are out for both sides. Kitsune Rush towards the point, but we're disengaging. Willen Drew's a little bit of tension back. That Kitsune Rush hit a post. That's not ideal. Not ideal. So moving on to the objective, still, MewThree have this Death Blossom to work with and are kind of taunting Opon to come closer. Julia drives the D.Va away, teleports into the back line to find a kill on to Tomex. Looking at the skies, Rod FD is down as well, and you cut off the supports of Dreamlight. Self-destruct from Opon. Not going to find anything. And Senna picks up a third here in this fight. This is going to be tied at 1 apiece as this is flipped in the 90s.
It feels like this is coming down to ult economy more than anything else, right? I mean, it's a heavy spend from Dreamlight to get that first. And then they don't have it to close out their second. So feels like we're having a bit of a seesaw in terms of who's got an advantage in these fights. And we are playing tank counter, by the way. Notice how Central FM went to the Diva to mirror out Golden Pants. Golden Pants goes back over to the Winston, and now it's back to the Malga. We're just going back and forth, no matter. Try and get some sort of lead.
GP receives the blast, run down, Tomix with it. God, that was an enormous, the explosion on the blast. Looked like it hit 3 or 4. Opon's been able to clap back a little bit. Oh, and Pomatimo finds kills. I mean, health bars were just fading there from Dreamlight, but they find the crucial picks. Akon gets a trade on a Pomatimo at the end. Still nobody's got control of the point. Crumble will not land the pulse. Eventually, Dreamlight take the objective.
I will say it feels like a curse of MewThree traces today that the pulse ones have not been exemplary. I can't think of really a single pulse pick has been connected that time. Again, the floor is cratered and beads eventually dropped.
Why does he like hit that somewhere on one of those top rocks? I don't know how that landed. Oh, the boop, almost a big play boop, but GP does get the bonus jump back, so they did not fall in the hole. If they didn't get the bonus jump from that primal, they're done for.
Yeah, I think Rosby only hit himself because as soon as it connected, Lilin basically insta dies, right? And Central Lab and Pomatimo were not that extra stable, so I think that might have been the juggle from Golden Pants actually displacing it, or some very poor decision making it so Dreamlight are having to play from behind. That being said, nothing at all really until the portals come online for MewThree. And okay, well, I was about to say that gives them a lead, but Tomek's insta dead.
Kurama, okay, just decided they're gonna turn it on this fight. We're not gonna have a fight here. We're just gonna get Kurama assassinating people. That was it.
Not looking great for Dreamlight, unfortunately. They've kind of been put in a chokehold here. I think it's kind of not the point for them, especially when they're attacking. They have to eat so much spam from this double flex backline whilst they're rotating. Anytime they make it to the point they're low on resources. Cage connection could be huge here. The pole stomp, though, still a threat.
We've seen the cage used solo. This is Golden Pants with the title blast. Tries to go away aggressive. Kurama will knock in that pulse out. I believe that got canceled. As Golden Pants, the recipient of Lilin's, the cage fight unclear what it caught, but this is going to get it done. It looked like a knockoff there from the overrun. Chaotic fight, but you end up with both of the Reapers down on the objective and still nobody quite with an edge. I gotta compliment MewThree. They're able to rotate around that cage fight. What I thought was going to be a disastrous turn, they've moved back on this objective and kind of forced Dreamlight to make a move. And it's going to be both support ults. It's going to be that move. It's a big investment. Tomix finds the kill on the GP. We will get a flip. 90% on the board here for Dreamlight.
Indeed. That surely is going to be it. Any push in is just not going to be all that well advised. Something insta dead. You have to throw everything at the kitchen sink here, but they seem to have done it.
Yep, the kitchen sink just smashes upon approach, unfortunately. Unfortunately for MewThree, that is. You know, that's great if you're a Dreamlight fan out there.
That was not as confident as I would have liked from Dreamlight, but at the end of the day, a lead's a lead, a point's a point, and now Gardens could be the difference maker between them going down 0-2 and tying it here. Strong check marks both sides of the card, but an early Blossom could be everything.
Liz just kind of holding the door back, so I think to help heal for the GP Primal. It looks like nobody really comes away with control of Fountain Room. Opon and Dreamlight back away, rotate to the objective with their Death Blossom.
Every day of the week, right? They know their opponents have to push to them. Golden Pants actually makes the change once more, but you're going to be, again, pretty worried about like a Kurama dive bomb with the Tidal Blast, so again, we're really looking to go early first, take away that opportunity.
Aka just ults themselves. It's good enough to find Pomatimo. Went it beautifully, considering we're starting on the point from Ace. 4v3. Only thing missing Kurama. This is a great team fight from MewThree. Only using that. Ah, they did use both support ults, actually. They did throw in that
Take
Kitsune.
that.
Yeah, fair.
I kind of take that if I'm Dreamlight, right? You get both support ults out. You get 43% on the objective. You don't spend a thing yourself. You're walking back in with basically 5 ultimates. As long as you don't get first picks, you're all G, and that won't be the case, at least as of yet.
Roland's able to get out. The rest of the team has moved on to the objective. Up on is low, but it is Senna who goes down first. Kurama's not in this fight either. Is still in the back line trying to find Dreamlight. Trying to find Tomex, Dreamlight's back line. The cage fight works out. You take down GP, and you're going to get a flip here.
So happy if you're Dreamlight. They are in pole position now to close out this map, and you need kind of a hero play, if I'm honest, from MewThree if you want to maintain some sort of lead here in Suravasa. Your kind of game plan has to focus around basically just landing a stick, getting a positive resource trade, and then going from there. You do have some time. You do probably want to slow play for Tidal Blast, but you've got to be feeling the pressure, and I don't think that's something that these players are traditionally known for, is patience.
It's actually Julia's Shadow Step that is the engage. The Death Blossom to back it up, but the Death Blossom's immediately canceled. Double support ult and Dreamlight have done it. They have got Gardens. They have got Suravasa on lock. The cleanup is perfect. The Death Blossom is beautiful. It's a dance of success. Dreamlight will tie the series.
That they will, but this was the Wrecking Ball map. That's your ban gone. That's your free victory. You know, it's your participation trophy almost. And not that, you know, Golden Pants is bad at any particular hero, but I don't think anybody in the world is going to argue that Golden Pants on D.Va is the same as Golden Pants on Bull. So now you've got that out of the way.
When you think of Golden Pants, you don't think of Winston? That's not the first thing that comes to your mind?
Well, I actually think of the Sigma. That's for a whole different reason.
Whoa. There's a story. Anyway, sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you. I had to throw that out there.
No worries. But the practical upshot now is that you've got some momentum. You need to be able to turn that into something repeatable, because banning the ball is not repeatable.
Right. So true. And you got to do it on a MewThree map pick. Who do we think got most damage there in Suravasa? Who do you think had the most output?
Probably Central Upland.
Yeah.
Like a gander.
Yeah, with the Magos. Yeah. That's probably a pretty accurate guess. Pomatimo might be up there. Felt like the Genji was doing work. We got a Junkertown pick here from MewThree, by the way. A wonderful ball map. Despite if you're not a ball player, you may think like, what? A wonderful, wonderful ball map. And just a map I haven't seen in an official, and it feels like ages.
Oh no, not for absolute like donkey's years. It feels like. It's just not very popular with map pools, and it's not a thing people like to pick either for an escort, because it's just so focused around hit your shots, guys. If you don't have the mechanics for it, you're gonna have a pretty terrible day. First ban out, that's going to be a Tracer ban here, which is interesting. I guess that's to stop people stored in the cart so easily, so it is only the bull who has the easy time, you know, getting progress or stopping it.
Yeah, we've talked about MewThree have no pretenses about being subtle, right? Like, this feels very advertised, because this means you're putting Sin in hit scan, right? This means, like, we want Sin to sit in hit scan and just click those heads on the back of some pile drives out of GP. Just get rid of the Tracer altogether. We have no pretenses on putting Senna on that hero.
If I am Dreamlight, I'm probably trying to ban an Alari. But we'll see exactly what the teams have elected to do once the lineups are finalized, once we're actually into the action.
Apon does take gold damage. You are correct on that. Pomatimo was close at 11.3k. But Pomatimo actually is behind Akka in damage. Speaking of support heroes from MewThree, Akka has more damage output than either DPS player from MewThree there in map 2. Just wanted to highlight that real quick.
Boy, it's a fair and balanced roll, guys. By the way, it was in the end the Illari ban coming through from Dreamlight. Makes sense. You're playing against the double flex team. You take away the best double flex hero.
Yeah.
Not sure actually what we see here. I'd probably expect a Kiriko, but Zenyatta's still a very valid choice.
Is the Wuyong not just going to be sick as hell here?
Well, yeah, I mean, that's absolutely true as well, right? I'm still getting used to him being in the game, it feels like.
I know. You know, we did not see Wuyong in regular season. All the teams are still kind of getting used to scrimming with this hero, having this hero into the mix as well. It's not just us, now that you mention it. We're just waiting on Dreamlight to get in here, by the way. It's actually MewThree are here on time this time. They're ready to go. We do have Kurama is still in the lineup. No surprises, no changes in rosters from either side.
Okay, see how this works out. Defensive comp obviously locked in. We've got Pomatimo actually on the Torbjorn here. That is, to be fair, a pretty annoying hero for basically everybody to deal with. The turret can be broken, but you're incredibly hard to pick. Any sort of engages onto you have to deal with the fact you've got like 400 effective HP and a pretty high DPS shotgun. Decrease on the prayer for that long range survivability. Interesting, we're not seeing any soldiers, but I think they just decide to pick potential's the most important thing here.
Yes, not so much about the consistent damage, but the burst damage that a Freya can provide. And Julie is so nasty with this hero. Kurama on the Hanzo is a little bit more surprising. I don't think of Kurama as being, you know, one of those in the double snipers. But, you know, you're still in the family. You're still in a Shimada brother, I suppose. That's what matters, right? That's my expert analysis. Nick Hurrios with a wonderful opener. Finds Akka in the back line. GP barely able to make it out, but it costs you your Suzu.
Strong start here. At the end of the day, if GP isn't finding chaos, then stuff like this is going to be happening pretty consistently, right? MewThree don't have the ability to just magic up a pick as easily as the Diva comp does. And so far, they're pretty consistently on the back foot, right? Look how often Golden Pants has to walk back to the rest of his team, just get a full stable with cleanse, nade, the whole shebang. I mean, Decrease is a little bit softer right now. Central up and out a mech. The cleanse not there in time. Maybe things have turned to the other side now.
It looked like just a momentary distraction from the alley. It looked like I saw 3 players turn, look at that back alley, and just in that span of time, Central Upon loses their mech. Julian now with some high ground position. This is just going to be the cap. We're looking at, I mean, a 5-minute plus time bank, unless we're going to get a touch in here. I don't see anybody going for it. Yeah, that's 5 minutes on the time bank. Just done.
It's Ray can afford to take 2 fights on defensive first point Junkertown. It just kind of sucks as an area. And so it's a very quick time bank extension. GP, it's at 50 HP before he pops the adaptive shielding. But again, able to make it out. That being said, this is a pretty hard area to attack, right? You need a pick. You need especially your tank to find some level of disruption. Because look how awkward these DPS angles are.
Mine's in over on a Pomatimo. That was such a beautiful minefield. You got to stick it from center combined with it. Honestly, I think the rest of Dreamlight fortunate to get out in one piece from that one. That was a nasty little setup there from MewThree. Long range bolo shot from D Cruz does not land, but Apon's able to move up to the high ground, kind of secure a little bit more space, only temporarily. Kitsune Rush to try to hold on to it, but you've got the match and you've got the dragons thrown in from MewThree. Sound barrier vested. Now we're gonna get the molten core. We're looking at a lot of ults thrown into this fight. So far, nobody has an edge. Apon has to. Did we just poke bomb or do we have to use that? I didn't think they were that low on health, but you know what? Either way, it's the 5th ultimate invested here from this Dreamlight defense, and I don't think anybody's gotten a kill yet, Spec.
I don't think they have. Plenty of players have
That's
dropped down low,
fight.
right?
Nobody's died. I'm sorry.
Yes, it's a Junkertown moment, right? It's so easy to take cover. There's no side lanes. People can do all they want, but at the end of the day, if you don't overpeak, you just don't die.
I mean, that was legitimate a 10 ult fight and nobody died. GP's almost got a second minefield up. I mean, like, okay, the last death was the Pomatimo solo kill with the mines. There we get both of our Freyas. We'll end up on the business end of, you know, some unfortunate circumstances. What a wild last minute and a half we have seen. The defense, ooh, Ace has to go in deep, try to alleviate some pressure. It works. You draw back 3 players and you've opened up some space. Now Mines to try to capitalize on it. Up on trying to hunt down Rod FD, but they're able to escape to this inside where the Torb of Pomatimo is able to kind of fend off Golden Pants for the moment.
At the end of the day, these mines do deny some level of area control, but because you can still contest the cart from under this alcove, it's really hard to force anybody out.
Freyas have since returned. All of this just prolonged fight has favored the defense. Somehow Kurama's made it into the back line to pick up a kill onto them. All right. Woo! Nice little storm arrows. You fight D-Cruz. It's going to take a bold move, and Kurama delivers. Goes all the way around back and just cuts the knees off from underneath this defense.
It takes a while, but eventually somebody's able to connect more shots than the other team, and obviously here, going to be MewThree once more I do think the Lucio just isn't finding the same value that the Wu Yang is. One of the big issues, I think, that we are seeing Dreamlight experience is that Wu Yang's really strong right now, and playing this kind of almost rule comp. It's a nice idea, but it just doesn't have that same level of impact.
There's a Kitsune rush up. I was kind of keeping an eye on that title. Blast was still under Golden Pants. Hit 2 down low, but not able to secure the kills. And despite the double ult investment, the sound barrier, and well, just some good old clean raw shots. Oh, hold. I was gonna say the Molten Core, but the Molten Core was used earlier. So, yeah, it was just one ult used to finish that off. Nicely done.
Yeah, you absolutely take that economically. Now you've got some better tools to play in the extended poke, and yeah, on paper, the bomb, the bolus, pretty terrible. You still like to have the mines invested, decrews evaporated, and the positioning for the remaining members of Dreamlight bloody sucks.
Yeah, that was terrible. Look at the hole there bunched up into the bolo shot. And 2 with the pile drive. Oh, man. That was such a beautiful minefield. GP just absolutely corralled them. I mean, that was like the Texan cattle rancher somewhere deep in my blood is very proud. That was some expert wrangling, my friend.
That was, I mean, just stuck in a corner, no cover, hit with both the bolus and the slam. I mean, Dreamlight just have their HP practically nuked. Coming into what could be their final fight, or at least very close to it. 2 minutes left to go. This defense still could have some legs, but they've got to find a catch sooner rather than later. Central left back quickly getting lost in the sauce, it seems like.
I can't believe they're able to survive through that. They're focused back in. Dial in to find Julia with this Kitsune rush. Tom Mix, I think, really kind of pulling this team back together here with that all-important ultimate. Couldn't come a moment too soon.
So, you're 1, maybe 2 fights if things go catastrophically. Your ult track is going to be pretty accurate. It's going to know that basically every ultimate from your opposing team is online. You've got to build everything around this Rod FD sound barrier. You need to figure out how to milk the last, possible amount of value from it, because if you don't, it's still going to be a completion with time and he dies!
98%. That is just disastrous. Oh my. Okay. But you get the clap back. That was the salvation that you needed here from Dreamlight. You'll get your defense resituated here. You'll get this sound barrier for one final hold against the 5 check marks from MewThree.
Like I said, entirely necessary. If that doesn't happen, then you're simply losing. Obviously, Golden Pants back, beat in, and it is pretty huge. But unfortunately, Pomatima won't live to see it.
Oh, and Julia is able to claim it in a second with that bowler shot. Blade from Karama finds no value. Maybe that's the only shining grace here in this fight. The only silver lining. Kitsune rush gonna get tossed in here from Ace. Pomatima wants to devalue, jumps into the back. You're gonna double team Occam, pick up that kill. Try to find Set out of the sky. Instead of backing away, the Susan protect him and gets the pick. Oh, no. No. That's not how this is supposed to go.
I thought that was basically over for Dreamlight. I
think it was basically over for Dreamlight.
we don't get on the cart. It happens, I guess, with no traitor to hard mark the cart. The Genji doesn't want to do it, and I believe had a terrible time with the Dragon Blade just earlier, and Golden Pants has got stuff to do in the backline, so a bit rough. By the way, look at the stats we're seeing from Dreamlight. They're winning these fights with like single kills. This is rough. I get it's kind of what happens when you play like brawl stuff into like, especially brawl stuff, where it's really hard to just get a full team wipe, but they are just sitting to the objective and praying. It feels like they've got to do a bit more than that on the attacking side, where those kills going to become more pivotal. But at the end of the day, they've got something of a blessing to be able to close out this map without going to extra innings. They've got to seize this opportunity with both hands, else they'll be one map away from lower bracket, not a position that many people would want to be. Dreamlight, 3rd place last season. You want to be aiming for at least that, right?
Especially after the season that you had.
Yeah,
the regular season performance that you're able to put up here in Season 6.
So going lower bracket here would not be a great step towards that goal. Central left-hand Roadhog, mother of God.
Is this desperation, or are we cooking?
See? The upside of the Hog is that he's actually really effective at forcing cart. Again, what the Tracer was banned out for. But it's just farming ult charge for both himself and Tomex, as well as getting some nice progress. This is good. Golden Pants as well has to respect the threat of the hook, because even though you can't get that one shot, you can still get rid of a good half his HP.
Yeah, GP just fireballs to get out. That's both cooldowns used from the Wrecking Ball. So the defense will just try to reset up on this next corner. A little bit of a roll through there from the Hog, but back on point. Opon definitely forcing the issue here with the Roadhog. Gets a mean hook down onto Kurama for an opener. This is going to be enough to keep this cart going. Certainly looking that way. Julia 85% towards an ultimate. Playing off the back alley side, but not able to lock down a pick just yet for this defense. Ooh, in fact, eats a mean take aim.
This just feels unethical. The Roadhog, I mean, has to be respected. This huge area around the pick is going to be broken for a second as the Reaper from Kurama begins shredding the HP, but the Krez is going to allow him to survive. Tomex dead, Kurama traded.
I mean, Opon able to live through that, gets a second hook onto Akka, mid that Kitsune Rush, just getting hooks up and I mean, he has another hook. I didn't even think about, like, how many hooks you get during a Kitsune Rush. That's incredible.
Oh my god, this is filthy.
Okay, so Opon actually cooking. Opon actually cooking. Ace and Senna, though, have held the line. Senna will drop, but Kurama's stemmed the time, stem the bleeding, whatever I was trying to say. Stop the tide. The cart's been held. That's what I'm trying to say, Spec. The cart's been held.
That it has. But the fact that it's so close means that somebody has to be there at all times, and nobody really wants to be standing there is the practical upshot here. No more Roadhog. Decided they're going to be normal on the Diva, but I think the damage has been done. Oh, well, Decros is insta-dead. Maybe you call this a cancel. You've still got great ults to try and fight with it. Time Mech Extension still seems to be a close thing indeed in Dreamlight's future.
Hanging out in a bit of a sneaky ambush spot. That's mines thrown in from GP. They have already faded. You managed to slow down Dreamlight just a little bit by some time. That's gonna be a big slam in. That one's looking a little bit dangerous. There's the peel. There's the sound barrier. We're gonna get a quick counter punch running into the Kitsune Rush. That was Kurama who got the Death Blossom combined with the Tidal Blast. I'm not sure where the blast hit, but clearly Palpatimo gets the business into the Blossom. We're gonna get another pair of kills here for this defensive MewThree.
At the end of the day, though, that was a pretty heavy spend. You've only got this boulder heading into the next fight. Your opponents don't have that same restriction, right? So you've managed to take the time off now when it's kind of easier for you, but you've probably sacrificed this fight. Oh, especially if GP has an extra rough time of things there, but we'll be able to escape for now. Dreamlight need this fight. They're good odds for it.
Kitsune Rush thrown right on top of Palpatimo. We get a trade onto our Freyas to start the match. You do still have Kurama trying to loop into the back line. The swift step in to try to hold the point from Ace, but the rest of Dreamlight just push forward, force the 4v3, find Akka in that trade. Couple ults for each team to close this out as we're in the final 10 seconds of this attack. Giving the mines out from Golden Pants, but the cart has kind of drift past them. Would you be able to locate any supports? No, looping back around just to anchor the cart. It's going to run into some bolts from D Cruz, and we're going to get a point on the board and an extended time bank here for Dreamlight.
Yeah, it took a bit longer than they would have wanted, considering they could have done that with an extra, 2 minutes on the bank. But at the end of the day, as long as they keep the cart rolling, they do not care. And they do it efficiently, too. Only using the Kitsune Rush and the boulder to get it over the line, right? So they can go mano a mano with the opposing team now still. That being said, they're on a poke map. They only have the Freya for long-range threat. So this might be awkward if they can't find an engage and find one fast.
GP doing a good job of just taking away space. First takes away this piece of high ground. Now moves and corrals them all down low where the bolo shot's gonna hit 3. Beautiful swing through. GP just adds more insult to injury on top of that bolo shot. Self-destruct used from Opon down low, and we're able to get back in mech. This is a very surgical opening minute to this defense for point B from MewThree. Now they're able to throw in a Kitsune Rush, layering in another ult on top. GP missed the wall jump, wanted the extra pile drive, but will get it in there still. It's a touch too late. And Dreamlight hang on for a little bit longer.
See the idea with the Kitsu, but obviously no kills actually found. And I can't say it's one I'm a huge fan of. We need to be able to take care of Kurama. But we go heavy on the engagement. The Blossom could be everything here.
Yeah, Kurama's able to fight. Tomex with it. Central Upons a touch late, but you still end up with a favorable trade if you're Dreamlight. As I say that, D-Cruz goes down. Who do we got left on this point? There's Rod FD. I know Rod FD's still lurking around here somewhere, Spec.
Lurking.
42 seconds to go. Death Blossom, the only thing available here for the attackers to work with and try to crack this open.
If you're Pomatimo, you're probably looking for a background Blossom. You haven't gone for too many of those, but as the engage comes through and Central Athens out of mech, you kind of need a miracle. 25 seconds left to go. A trade has to materialize, or you need to at least get your mech back.
Neither of those things are going to happen. Tomex actually does deliver a trade as I say that, but you've lost Pomatimo. It's not a good trade as far as numbers. MewThree dominate here. We see why they choose Junkertown. Looking proficient not only on the attack but the defense. Both sides of the coin. Rod FD will initiate an OT, but we're not going to get any kind of back cap, fully comprehensive defense. Looks like the focus fire on point. Consider rush to collate up here. And the defense stays strong. MewThree will move up to match point in your lower bracket quarterfinals.
Took them a little while there, but they're able to get it over the line, and yeah, I think it never really was in doubt. I think this is the greatest gap they could open up between themselves and their opponents. They've got 2 flex supports. Rod isn't going Wu Yang anytime soon, so you just end up outvaluing your team based on comp. Listen, I really did like the road spike. I almost think that's something they should have stuck on because it just allows you to, match your opponent's tempo a little bit more. Make that slow game something that works for you a smidge more instead of having to find these weird brawl fights onto a bull comp that's playing high ground. It just feels bad. So now Dreamlight down 1 and 2, going to need 2 in a row. This time at least they've got their own map pick, their own first ban. And they also know that they've taken away a lot of the good options for their opposition. If I am Dreamlight, though, I'm probably thinking about the hybrid pool to try and pick the one that's most advantageous to you.
Of course, anything could be available in Map 5. At least in regular season, Map 5 wasn't the remaining game type. Now, it's a little bit different rule set from OWCS in that regard. And that might have changed going into playoffs, because I know they're really trying to get FACEIT more and more in line with the rule set from OWCS. But last I heard, it's still any map that has yet to be played is available. I think
you are correct. I think I'm just a bit daft.
No, because that's the rule set for like everybody else. So like that, it makes sense. There was a Diva ban, by the way, there from Dreamlight with the Esperanca pick.
I mean, Diva is something that Golden Pants might play if Ball is banned, but obviously Ball isn't banned. We kind of know what's going to happen. So just attack protect, knowing that they're going to play probably more Malga, I'd expect. And just getting rid of something that's kind of annoying for them to play against what they're doing. Their opponents on the other side of things. What's that? Lucio. Make their life harder. Malga without the Lucio, it's like an angel without its wings. Simply put, right? Your rotates just feel terrible.
Yeah, 100%. Make life much easier for MewThree to continue to wrangle up these cattle with no speed on the other side.
Here's what we do actually here. You could Juno Brig. The back
That's what I was thinking is
as great
Juno
as it's ever
Brig.
been.
Yeah.
Right? It's not fantastic.
No.
Do you force Tomex or Redifty rather onto Kikiriko? Do you like some Kiri Moira kind of look? Or do you just like give up on the speed entirely? Go on like the Brig, so you can still brawl okay, but if you don't get that brawl, your day is kind of ruined. It feels very personal. I'm not sure there's a best choice. I think it were me, I'd be looking at the Kiri Brig. Okay, it seems like it is going to be the Wu Yang actually. Which is curious. The backline is going to be a vulnerability for sure. The Wu Yang is going to help Pomatimo and Lilin find their value. But at the expense of being such a weakness, right? And Central Japan as well, not being able to get the sorts of rotations you're normally able to eke out with their Lucio utility. This is tough for Dreamlight, but it is winnable.
Yeah, they just go for no speed. At least the Wuyong himself has the repositioning. You know, can kind of get themselves in a bit safer spot. You see GP is on the hunt. Once the waterbender down. What do you work for the Fire Nation, GP? What is this?
Hey, well. Forced out so far, playing this kind of weird poke. AP advantage, actually, to Dreamlight, and with that pick as well, Tomic's taking care of his opposite number. That might be it for first fight. So there's no egregious mistakes, right? GP, Senna, also low.
Yeah, that was Lilin doing a good job of protecting the flank from around that center tower. Got Senna so low there. The Senna who was trying to force that issue. So far, 2 kills favoring Dreamlight, and then able to march around this final corner towards the checkpoint. Now looking to protect the high ground. You've got 3 players moving in and try to dive, take it away. The appeal from Pomentimo. They're able to keep everybody alive. Hey, Eden, thank you so much for being here. Love you too, buddy.
At the end of the day, playing a neutral where you have lead isn't really bad for you whatsoever. Bubble invested. Rod able to survive. Akka the same could not be said.
So you trade Akka for Tomix. The Kitsune Rush does come and go here for Dreamlight. And you think get this cart just a little bit further. It feels like it'll be kind of out of the reach, you know, be able to tag back into this Mega. We're seeing GP alongside Kurama to keep this cart stalled where it is. That was the bubble thrown in. The tidal blast from Rod FD, unclear where it went. Lilith not in this fight. Apex is low, or Apon, excuse me, is low. That looks like a good win coming out. What a back and forth here. These fights are so chaotic, Spec.
Absolute pandemonium, right? I mean, everything's so focused on your individuals, and there's a lot of team play as well. When you've got the Kiri and the Wuyang specifically, you're so focused on who you can help when you can do it. But it's not the same as a brawl comp where you've got one blob of team crashing into another blob of team and seeing what happens. Obviously, lead still held for Dreamlight. They're happy to keep that neutral, keep that ammo forever. But with that cage online, they're probably gonna look for an engage sooner rather than later.
The mine's already used. Oh, that's a big part of the engage out of the equation now for Dreamlight, though. They do catch Akka with that cage fight. The EMP over the top's going to shut that down. Lilin will fall. I think the pulse even got canceled in the mix, and it was an enormous EMP there from Senna. And eventually whittles down Central Opon with death of 1,000 cuts there from that little submachine gun.
EMP is a pretty good ultimate. I don't think anybody here is going to be surprised to hear that. So fight win comes through. That should be lead as well. Forward spawn's going to be at least heavily threatened. Dreamlight appears to shoes on the other foot now, as they are now the ones who have to play from behind. They don't have the ult to really contest, but they've got to anyway. Recontest is going to be end.
Just barely. That's as close as it can get. The moment Opon steps off, yeah, this should just be the cap. That's going to be the title burst on the GP. Goes rolling in. Will get the knockdown onto the tank. Meanwhile, Ace and Kurama land headshots. Kurama follows it up. This is a comprehensive fight win out of MewThree. Looking dominant here in the second leg of Esperanca.
Indeed. I mean, I feel like this meta specifically is so good for what you want to play if you are MewThree, right? I know you remarked on this before, but to see it in action here, the Wuyang ult just delivered to anybody. It's basically a fight win. In Dreamlight, you want to play a bit more macro intensive. I mean, not a capability you really have. Kitsu out. Wuyang does get a knockdown, but the cleanse is there.
Death Blossom was that right on the bot where the Kitsunes had crossed. You do find one pick with that. GP and Ace, we're holding high ground. GP is rolled out. Ace is still trying to stick around at there, fight a trade. Will not make it out. Got a little greedy on that one.
Jeez. Okay. You take away forward spawns here. You've only got pulse, but that's okay. You're going into a pretty neutral fight. As long as you don't play this slow enough for an EMP to ruin your day, well, that to happen, then you're probably going to be stable. So now you kind of need something to happen. You need somebody to make a bit of a play. It's 4v5 down with your Wu Yang. It gets Orc an attempt at the Zest stick from Linen. Bolt doesn't work. Tomix dies as well, and unfortunately Dreamlight here, a bit of a non-starter. They only get the bot back to the center before things go right back in favor of MewThree. And I've got to say, Jeff, it does begin to feel like the beginning of the end.
As we cross the halfway mark as far as time. This was the upper bracket semifinals, by the way. I erroneously spoke at the end of the last map. So there is still a bit of a safety net here for Dreamlight if this one does not go their way towards the end of this map. It does kind of feel like it is tilted as the EMP is going to hit an enormous amount of people. Gargantuan ultimate, they're out of Senna. Actually result in a 1-1 trade in your DPS, but it feels like you've got Dreamlight just completely pinned into the corner. Cooldown's used just to try to get out, overrun, Swift Step, just to try to find safety. And the Vice continues to squeeze here from MewThree.
Yeah, the cart is continuously rolling. Good shots from Tomix to find that trade. In the end of the day, it is able to be a turn fight here. But EMP, I mean, almost again in the fight win there. Dreamlight barely holding on, but we get some late kills here. It does allow them to get something of a snowball going. Kitsu in. Tomix, I assume, going to be going for the answer. But he's also the first hit.
I thought Karama would get the title blast. I don't know who got it, but Ace comes up with 2 kills. I'm guessing it was GP that got that. As you can see in the top of your screen, it was GP who got the assists alongside Akka, and then Ace there with the 3 final blows to send this cart marching right back into MewThree's favor.
We're in the final stretch of the map here. This could be everything. Pulse Bomb pick here would probably spell the end of Dreamlight. The cage has to be enormous, and Central Apan has to do it early now. Rod's dead especially.
Okay, try to just use defensively, but it's just no avail. The waves are crashing down. The supports are starting to fail from this defense in Dreamlight as the kills continue to mount up, and this is going to be MewThree potentially taking this. You do have one ultimate, one last chance to try to bail out of your Dreamlight, but the Coalesce is not really finding anything. Lilin not able to locate much, does get set up, but will get blown up by the pulse bomb. Of course, you're going to get a desperate attempt from Dreamlight here. They're not going down without a fight. You get the touch in from the Doomfist, but Tomix cannot stay alive long enough to keep them in this fight. Still, the respawns are good. You have Lilin coming up with yet another pick. It was a big clutch factor in map 1. Could they have just bailed him out here? Maybe. They might have just done it, Spec. Miraculous turnaround.
Oh, yeah, but it was pretty bloody scary if you are Dreamlight, right? Just streaming out respawns. Central App and a Doomfist, I believe we saw. But they will be able to at least stop themselves getting completed against. Humongous difference, though, between winning one of the most advantageous fights you can take in the game and turning this into a competitive map. A 1-for-1 trade does make it a lot more doable, though.
Tomix going down. Actually, it might be a blessing in disguise. Try to throw this another late Kitsu into this. We had one pretty egregious C9 earlier. That is so close, trying to navigate Golden Pants' boot back up on, with a tightrope walk there to keep this map alive. That was ridiculous. You do have a couple of important ults online here for Dreamlight, and you can see MewThree respecting that. They back away to their corner, knowing they've got Kitsu and Blade coming at them.
We're looking to go with just a Blade to start, I would imagine. Nope, Kitsu loose, of course. Looking for a target. It doesn't seem to find it. The flip away is perfect, and Lilin goes down in the Pandemonium.
Akka self ult just runs right at Opon. Here comes GP to try to follow it up, but Timo has the Blade out. Dashes through 2. Oh, looking for the 3rd. Can't quite locate Ace. Ace is able to swift step away right into Lilin's hands. Dreamlight once again stave off defeat.
Again, it's so awkward, though. It's always so close, If Pomatimo doesn't find that double kill, almost a 3rd, are we looking at a completed map? One has to maybe guess so. 30 seconds left to go, and any touch, any temporary stop of the payload is going to feel like agony to Dreamlight, but so is that.
Lilin hack. Still trying to find a kill on Ace through it. No, Ace wins that out. Ace gets 2. Ace finds both of your DPS. And that's just going to be that. Tomix goes down. MewThree will turn the tides and take the 3-1, reversing the result we saw in the regular season, finding their revenge against Dreamlight here today. When it matters most, Spec, when it matters most.
This patch is so good for them.
So
you
good.
know,
Yeah.
It's just ridiculously powerful, especially for this team, where they're finding so much, success. Not to take away from the skill of the players, of course. I mean, we see the value AES can put here in one of multiple double kills from the Curie position. That's not even, speaking about what we were seeing map 1 on the Ana. I mean, great start for Dreamlight with the Malga, but unfortunately it wasn't really tenable to continue through. I think the bans were often better from MewThree, and not that I think the Malga is bad specifically, but it didn't end up working out for them, right? They were consistently out-angled, looking for targets, not finding it, and getting ult-cycled, I think, was a big thing, especially when it was either Akka or Senna on the Sombra, right? The rotation of the Nano, the EMP, or the Wu Yang, the EMP, was simply too much for Dreamlight to bear. Now, obviously, not eliminated yet. Still got a lower bracket to play through, and a chance to go away and think about what they're going to do differently next time. Though it was a 3-1, it always did feel, at least to me, like it was MewThree that was pretty firmly with their butts in the driver's seat.
Heading into Junkertown, it still felt like anybody's game. And, I mean, man, MewThree really found that extra step, really found that next level there once they got their map pick on Junkertown, and kept that going. And kind of circling back around to talking about the smart bans and how you felt like MewThree really kind of came out on top, just right there in the ban phase, before you even load into the map. And I think one of the big indicators is that MewThree never bans out that Malga. They never feel threatened enough that they have to go directly after the tank. They're able to accomplish what they want to accomplish by banning around it. And I think is really, just really indicative of how threatened they felt by that. And not that there's anything against Oppon or anything like that, just really smart banning from MewThree. And they never had to go directly after the tank itself.
I still really like that Tracer ban on Junkertown. I know I spoke about, somewhat at length, but it just works out so well for them. I mean, we see how much they feel like they need to hug the car the entire time, did Dreamlight. And we see where that got them. I don't know, I'm feeling like MewThree may well be a contender heading forward in the playoffs.
It certainly looks like it here. They will take on SRP Czech coming up your upper bracket finals.
Let's hit my leave now. Thank you so much for having me on.
Thank you so much for joining me as always.
Yeah, it's always a great time to be here, and I think I shall see you the next time. Adios.
Have a good one, my friend. There you go. Always nice to Spec to come join. Always has such an awesome perspective.